League. From Sandwell near Birmingham, the current super heavyweight class Midland judo champion at 20 stone, Brian Drew. Weighing 20 stone, he's 6 feet 7 inches, the current British discus champion. From Edinburgh in Scotland, already 15 times the Scottish champion in the super heavy weightlifting class, bronze medal winner at the Commonwealth Games, John Hind. From the world of weight training, rugby union and now rugby league, former captain of the Harlequins, now the Oldham prop, weighing 16.5 stone, Adrian Alexander. Next to Coatbridge near Glasgow, and a steel worker, 19.5 stone, a man who excels at that Scottish sport of tossing the caber, the Highland Games champion, Bob Davidson. Weighing a hefty 24 stone, from Wyken near Coventry, a brewer's drayman, 34-year-old John Randall. And the last of our competitors, hoping to be Britain's strongest man at 20 stone, from Whitechapel in London, the man who was twice British powerlifting champion, Steve Zetolowski.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage here at the Young Vic Theatre in London to Britain's strongest man. These 8 fellas, they come all over the country. They have different feats of strength to perform over the next hour. Indeed, 7 tough events leading up to the tug-of-war at the end to decide who's going to be Britain's strongest man. And indeed, one of these 8 fellas could win £1,400 in the next muscle-pounding 60 minutes. Anyway, to help me out over the hour is surely one of our most popular sportsmen in this country with the famous left hook. He knows about strength. Henry Cooper. Have you ever performed any feats of strength yourself?
Nothing what these guys are going to do, no. I'm a weakling.
I don't
15 stone weakling.
15 stone, well, that's not too bad. You're going to meet somebody who's going to be much heavier than that, who's going to be popping in as well, because he's the winner from last year, and that's the 1979 champion, Jeff Capes. Remember, he did so remarkably well in this contest. I'm looking forward to meeting him again, and it should be a very extraordinary hour of feats of strength. Britain's strongest man. Well, the very best of luck. You can go off and get ready now for the contest. Thank you. There's our 8 fellas, a ton of muscle power departs, and know the top 4 points winners who'll then go into a tug-of-war. And at the end of that, they'll win hundreds of pounds and also this trophy. Not quite this trophy, but it is this trophy. Thank you very much, Michelle. You can disappear. There's a very lovely salver, and it's donated by the sponsors of the contest, British Meat. So that's what they're playing for, as well as all the money. And as I get rid of this, let Henry Cooper tell you about the first event.
Well, Derek, this barrel is a demonstration one, a cutaway one, and it's full of water and sand like all these other barrels. And it's a bit mucky stuff, you know, look, it's all like that. Yeah, lovely it is. And if you splash that around, it splashes it all over, so I'm not going to lift that one anyway. So.
Oh, you got the line in early. Yes, very
got
good.
In quick, yeah.
Anyway, it will be difficult because it will keep shifting
Well,
around.
that's it. It sloshes around, and that makes it just that little bit awkward to lift, more than like just like a dead weight. Yeah.
And they'll continue to build these up to 80, 90, 100 kilos, which is what, 250 pounds. An awful lot of weight there.
I'm glad I'm not going to do it.
And to ensure fair play throughout the contest, we have a senior official from the British Amateur Weightlifters Association, Dennis Mulcairn. Hello. Okay, Dennis will be watching all the 8 competitors very closely. We'll watch the very first of the 8 in this, the extraordinary barrel lift.
Well, a back injury has forced Adrian Alexander out of this. Here's John Randall. Remember, he's the brewer's drayman from near Coventry, and he should do well at this. Trying the barrel here at 70 kilos.
Come on, John!
And he's going to fail. Yes, he's failed at that weight. Now then, the barrel's moved on to 110 kilos, and it's the Scots weightlifter, John Hind. This is very difficult indeed, you know. All that sloshing about in the barrel. And it's a fail. Yes, indeed. Trying next is the Glaswegian, Bob Davidson. And Bob, would you believe, is a grandfather. Remember, 110 kilos. Here's his method, rolling it up. But this 110 kilos seems to be proving too much for him and all the competitors.
Yeah, well, it's not so much heavy, it's awkward to the weights that I use.
It's that movement again, is it?
And now on to Richard Slaney. He's the discus thrower, and he's attempting 110 kilos as well.
Well, it's getting heavy now, is it?
Very heavy.
Yeah. And look, what do you find? It's still that movement problem?
That's the one, Henry. That's it. Stops you pushing it.
Yeah, you just can't lock that elbow out, can you?
Can't lock the right elbow.
Well, Henry, Richard looks as if he can do this, and he has. Yes, it's a good one. Now the Londoner. This is Steve Zetolowski. 110 kilos of all that awkward sand and water. And that's a good lift.
Right.
From Coleraine, Alan Crosley getting ready, the arm wrestler. Can he manage 110 kilos? A lot of strength there, but not very much technique, and he's out of it. The barrel lift then proving a problem, and Richard Slaney's retired. Why that, Richard?
Because I think there's too much of a risk of injury, especially on this event, because there's a long way to go yet. And the last one was quite hard, to say the least.
You damaged any muscles, you think?
No, not really. I got a bruise on my arm from the first one I did, but apart from that, I'm okay.
Well, you could still conceivably share the points for first place. It all depends on Stephen lifting the next weight. So
If he lifts, he wins.
if he lifts, he wins, right?
I don't blame you for being there, I'll tell you. God. Come on.
115 kilos, 253 pounds. And that's enough.
Stephen and Richard. Well, it was just that bit too much, was it?
He was shrewd, I must admit. He was very clever. I think I should have bowed out gracefully when I did do, when he bowed out, but gotta have a go, I told you.
Was that a very hard one, though?
A bit on the heavier side. I think he had a lot more brains than I did. Can't help being a powerlifter.
Anyway, you're both joint equal winners of that. Well done. Thank you very much. The first event then, the barrel lift in this year's Search to Find Britain's Strongest Man, and that's the scoreboard as a result. Steve Zetolowski and Richard Slaney get 8 points each. We decided this year that joint winners get the same points. Bob Davidson, John Hind and Alan Crosley all pick up 6, and Brian Drew gets 3, John Randall 2, and Adrian Alexander 1. That's the scores for the first event.
We've moved outside to the Thames Embankment for our second event, the sack race. And, well, this isn't the same as the sack race you may have done at school. Our sacks weigh 100 kilos, and they're carried across the shoulders. Henry is all yours.
Right, so it's Adrian Alexander, the Oldham rugby player. Now, he's got this 100-kilo sack across his back. Yeah, do you know that weighs heavier than I do? And he's against a judo expert, Brian Drew. Now, they have to race in a two-man heats against the clock over a 30-metre course.
Are you ready?
Well, there they go. God, there they go. Look, he's going like the clappers. Oh, he's holding.
Adrian Alexander seems to have parted company with that sack. Brian Drew then finishing the course. Very disconsolate looking there, Adrian Alexander.
Right, the next heat is between John Hines and Richard Slaney.
Are you ready?
Now, the time to beat here is Drew's 8.3 seconds. And Slaney wins with a time of 7.3 seconds.
Heat 3 sees Steve Zedelovsky and Bob Davidson competing. The time to beat now is Slaney's time of 7.3 seconds.
Are you ready?
A nippy turn of speed there gives it to Zedelovsky. Well, now John Randall coming on with the sack. He's taking on Alan Crossley in this heat. And the Ulsterman's away first, and it looks as if he's making this very easy indeed. Randall struggling, and Crossley wins, and down there at the finishing line is Britain's strongest man from last year, Jeff Capes.
How do you feel like that, Alan?
A bit staggering.
Bit staggering. A bit of weight on your shoulders, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, how do you feel about that song, She Ain't Heavy, That's a Bag of Sand? It's really heavy.
That's
eh?
a big bag of sand.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, here are the times then coming up for the fastest two men. At the top there, through to the final, it's Richard Slaney and John Hines who'll be competing.
Nearest the river then is Richard Slaney, and the other side, John Hind.
Think about it, Rick.
Coming up then, the final of the sack race.
John, are you ready?
That looks pretty simple, but was it really as simple as it looked?
It's hard to run like that because you've got all the weight on your spine and you're bent over forward and you've got your arms up in the air. But I just think I got a better start that time.
Thank you very much.
The points now for the sack race. Richard Slaney, 8. John Hines, 7. Zedelovsky, 6. Crossley's 5. Brian Drew, 4. Davidson, 3. Randall, 2. And poor Adrian Alexander, who dropped the sack, just 1 point.
One man who's certainly been looked on as a good strong boy in his time, Henry Cooper. Henry, I mean, how does your strength and the way that you developed your muscles differ from these fellows?
Oh yes, quite considerably, because I think, you know, all the weightlifting boys, they do much more weight training and lifting, where the boxers don't. You know, we used to do very little weight training, but because if you notice the boxers' muscles, they're basically long and loose, and that's the punching muscle. If you look at all the great fighters who were great punch, Sugar Ray Robinson, they didn't all stand out bunchy, muscly, they were all smooth and long. So that is a slightly different, so you can get your punches off quicker. But the boys have to have, you know, big muscles to lift big weights.
I know, it's a heck of a lot of weight, because a lot of your strength was in that fist. That left hook, it travelled 6 or 7 inches, and in that space of time, Henry, faster than a Saturn rocket, and with a weight of 4.5 tons.
I wonder why I didn't knock more of them out, to be honest.
So to a feat of strength, and Henry, you probably can help me out of this. We have these steel bars here, and that's 10 millimeters thick. You can use a towel, there you see, and you can use your arms, but you can't sort of use your elbows or your feet or anything to... Ah! Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there you are, that's how it's done. It's not quite 8 inches apart, but they've got to get it to within 8 inches apart. Then when they manage that, they've got 60 seconds on each. You did that very well. 60 seconds each, and on then to 12.5, 15, 17, and so on. That's what's going to happen in this event. Let's meet all the competitors.
One of my worst events. But I'm happy with that, obviously.
What about you, Brian? Because he did very well.
Very good.
Small
Yeah, I'm
man.
over the moon. Would have liked to have won. But Richard is a great competitor, you know, and he did very well.
Well, that's what happened in the girl lift with Richard Slaney getting 8 points, only 0.3 of a second separating John Hine from Richard. John with 7 then, Brian Drew 6, Steve Zetolowski 5, Alan Crosley and Adrian Alexander along with Bob Davidson all managed 4 points, John Randall with just 1. The girl lift.
Here on Jubilee Walk, then, beside the River Thames, another feat of strength in our quest to find Britain's strongest man. And I'm at the finishing line of an interesting little race, because right down at the bottom is a Leyland Terrier truck. It's 2 3/4 tons. We've got a harness, obviously, attached to the front of it, and each of our 8 competitors will endeavour to get up this 30-metre course as fast as they possibly can. And if you remember last year, there were some very tired men at the end. Jeff Capes, you remember all about that event last year, because I think you did the course in about 8 or 9 seconds, but you were a very tired man at the end. What sort of tips for this?
I think really is that you have to move the truck as fast as possible for the first 15, 20 feet. And after that, it does become easy because the weight is in fact moving. But really, you really run for the next 30 feet.
And keep low.
And keep low, because you have to keep the harness in line with you pulling it. And if you come up, then the truck takes you back again. And you in fact jerk the truck from a dead weight again.
Well, let's see the technique of the 8 competitors as we wait now for the truck pull in this year's contest.
So from Jubilee Gardens and a view of Big Ben, we go to the big pool. First man to demonstrate the ultimate in fuel conservation is Steve Zetolowski. Bit of a character, this guy, isn't he?
He is, isn't he? Yeah, he's the joker amongst the pack, isn't he? Yeah, he's
The power lifter.
yeah. I think he needs to be. Yeah, look. Yeah, he must be hard on the legs there. Yeah, that's a good technique, though. See, keeping low like that.
Get a bit of help there too from the ladies at the back.
Yeah. Haven't seen those extras on the Leyland before, have you?
Well, he's almost running there.
Yeah, he's got a good head of speed.
I'm not going to ask you, Steve, how you feel, but you was coming up there like a little steam engine going...
Yeah.
Do you think it was a little steam engine?
Must have done.
I think you have to be to pull that truck.
Yeah, I didn't start off too cleverly, unfortunately.
33 seconds dead.
John Randall now, the next to go. Remember the Brewers Drayman from Coventry and needing a lot of points. Perhaps a bit too upright here at the start to get a really fast time. What do you make of this event, Henry, yourself?
Well, I suppose it's all, you know, basically strong back and strong legs here, and technique, I suppose. You've got to be low, as Jeff was saying. You've got to keep low to get a fast start, and he started a bit too upright, didn't he?
The lads are giving a bit of help there.
Yeah, they're all a friendly bunch, you know. See, they're all encouraging each other, so it's good to see.
He's picking up a bit of speed, though. I don't know about the time. We'll find out in a moment.
Well, what was that like?
It's hard on the legs, that's all. What? Hard on the legs.
And now from Glasgow, Bob Davidson. Really, he isn't bad for a grandfather, you have to admit. A grandfather, you remember?
He's not bad, Red. Yeah, he's not bad. Look, he's got good leg power there, by the looks of it.
He's very fond of tossing the caber, you know, up in Scotland.
Yeah. Well, I should imagine that would be a completely different technique than this. Yeah, look, he's got quite a speed going there. Marvellous. Yeah.
I think that's a reasonably fast time. Let's see.
Oh, you enjoyed that one, didn't you?
Not too bad.
Was it very difficult at the start?
Yes, to get the... to get the momentum going, it's quite difficult.
Yeah. Okay, well, good luck.
And next coming up, Alan Crossley, who's been picking up quite a few points in this contest. And he seems to be making a slow start. I understand he's very fond of poetry. This is hardly poetry in motion.
An arm wrestler, Henry. Those sort of muscles won't help here, surely.
Not really, no. I say this is all leg and back power, isn't it? But I'm just wondering if it's better to be tall in this event or short and stocky like this one. I
think that's probably a good point, and I think he's going reasonably well.
Sure. How's your legs feel?
Blown.
Blown. They're really, really hard in the beginning, isn't it? Are you all right?
Yeah, oh,
You're not going to faint on us. What was your time, did you hear that?
32.6.
Well, here's a fellow who's more used to pushing in the scrum than pulling. Adrian Alexander. And at 16.5 stone, I suppose he's going to suffer from a lack of sheer bulk here.
Yep, I suppose the power, more head weight you got power, and he seems to be struggling there on the start there, doesn't he? Yeah.
Right,
now you'd think something like that would be good because rugby players, and if you're in a scrum like that, you're used to being low like that and pushing and taking weight, but I don't think he's going to be the fastest time here. It must be tough. It must be tough.
Well, over the previous events, Adrian's had problems, yeah.
A little bit rubbery, but not too bad. A little bit rubbery, but not too bad.
Yeah. It's a bit of
just getting the start.
Disadvantage though, being lighter than everybody else, isn't it?
Where I lacked it was a weight up top.
John Hind, the Commonwealth Games bronze medal winner, driving those feet firmly into the ground, trying to get a good start.
Very quiet guy, this, but, very intense, Henry.
Yeah. I like the way he started. It was just like he was trying to get the rhythm of, tug of war. He was digging that rhythm.
Now.
Look, now he's going good now. Well, this could be, one of the second fastest times, let's see, yeah. Good, my boy, let's have that.
I think this has to be a pretty fast time.
Yeah.
That was very good. Did you enjoy that?
Not a lot.
We think you're very, very close to that earlier time, and I don't think you've beaten the 28.2 seconds, but you were happy with that event. How have you enjoyed the contest, actually?
No, it's been good. A bit more strenuous than what I'm used to, but it's been good.
Would you like to be back in Scotland doing other sorts of weightlifting things?
Yeah.
Yes?
And so to Brian Drew, the scrap dealer from Sandwell near Birmingham. And he's taking some advice here because he's trying to start pretty low.
And a judo man, I don't know about the strength involved there, Henry. Would it help him here, I wonder?
Well, I think in judo, you have to take a lot of strain, and I should imagine this is the same thing. When you're pulling this, you're taking strain, and in judo, you've got another man and you're straining, pulling, and really tugging at the thing, so it's got to help him, I think. Look, he's got a good head of steam up there, look. There he goes.
Ever do any pulling events in your time?
Only tug of war, and that was...
Well, we've got that coming up later, yeah. Let's see what happens. Fair to be back in the scrapyard again, now, would you?
Yeah. Just a little bit tight. Did I win?
Well, we reckon that was about 33 and odd seconds.
You do?
You felt you were faster than that?
Yeah, I thought I was. Yeah, never was.
Don't worry. Well done.
Richard Slaney's having a great contest up to now. 24-year-old athlete, 6'7". Again, staying low.
And the athletes have done pretty well all the way through.
Yeah. But this guy's a strong guy, big but fast, and I think being an athlete and I think he should do well in this. Look, he's got a good... Yeah, he's going well if he can keep low and keep that moving.
Been listening to Jeff, you see.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's had a little
stumble there.
Are you all right?
Good, dear.
Richard. You turn that way, Richard, actually. Sorry, I know you're recovering.
It's hot.
We make it unofficially, I think, right about 26 seconds, and I'm going to be told in a moment there. So it looks as if you've won that event. Was that a very difficult one for you?
It was more difficult than I thought it would be, because I've got a lot of weight, And I think I should have won. But in the middle,
It seemed to me, because I was standing beside Jeff Capes, that you got off very quickly. I mean, there was no
but then I
pause.
fell in the middle. And I sort of had to get up. And it's hard to get the tension back on the rope. It sort of hits you and you go back. But
How does all these sort of feats of strength compare to the discus throwing? Would you like to get back to that as quickly as possible?
well, I'll think about that after tonight.
And let's confirm the result then in the truck pool. Richard Slaney with 8 points. Bob Davidson 7, John Hind 6, Randall with 5, Crossley 4, Zetolowski 3, Drew 2, and Alexander with 1 point. And if we move from that event to the main scoreboard after 6 events, we've got Richard Slaney in the lead with 46, John Hind 37, Alan Crossley 35, Zetolowski 34, Davidson 27, Drew 22, Randall 15, and Alexander with 10.
Just 2 more events left then in our search to find Britain's strongest man. And one of those events is the tug of war, when the top 4 point scorers play off. That's coming up then after this break. Well, here we have a small blue family saloon, and if you manage to get a puncture in one of these tires, I suppose you'd use a jack to lift it up. But our fellas, well, they're much stronger. They don't require jacks and things, you see. We've attached this beam here, and they're going to lift this up, lock the knees, hold it for a couple of seconds and down, and then if they manage that, we'll put more weight in here, obviously until we find a winner. And we're going to start off with a weight of 620 pounds.
They managed that, but we're now at 344 kilos. That's around 750 pounds. John Randall has opted out of the contest because of a back injury, and Adrian Alexander unfortunately failed earlier on. It's John Hind, though, that goes, and this looks like he's done very well. It is a good lift, yes. Next to try another Scot, Bob Davidson. And that's a good one.
Bob's up there with you as well.
Yeah, it's good.
Two Scotsmen.
I'll show you boys a thing or two.
From Coleraine in Northern Ireland, it's Alan Crossley. Straining a bit, but he manages that. Next to come up will be Stephen Zetolowski. Remember, the power lifter, 20 stone. This surely must be his event. And that was very easy. Brian Drew has been enjoying this contest all the way along. Let's see what he does here. Oh dear. And it really is too heavy for him, so he bows out. Now it's Richard Slaney, our leader at the moment. But he's finding it too heavy as well, so he's gone. The next weight was also too heavy for Alan Crossley, so we're now up to 394 kilos, and here's John Hind again. And he reckons that that's just about too much. Bob Davidson, the Highland Games champion. Will he manage it? got to lock those knees, and he didn't manage it, so he's gone.